So I invented this kick. I invented a kick.
Wow.
Yeah, I probably didn't invent it. It probably already is a thing. In fact, I think it's karate, but I don't know anything about karate, so I'm gonna ask a karate expert, is this karate? If it is, maybe you can help me like understand what I'm doing, why it's working. And if it's not, then this isn't a video. When I say I invented it, I don't mean that I'm the first person to ever do this. I've seen people do it, just no one showed me this or said it out loud. And it's definitely not a Muay Thai kick. Muay Thai kick is characterized by power, my hip leading, throwing my hip into the strike for maximum power. Everyone knows that the power comes from the hip. I'm gonna do the most opposite anti-Muay Thai thing I can think of. And what I've been doing, particularly in close range, is kicking and dropping my hip back. And I think I've seen Kyokushin, this style of kick, but basically I take my hip and drop it back and kick like that. And, or I'll go offline like this, drop my hip. But it's not just a short kick or even just a snap kick. Every time I'm dropping my hip back.
So it's like a hinge kind of.
Backwards, yeah. The opposite of the way that traditionally power is developed.
Right.
Is this a karate thing?
Now it looks very similar to what I would call a bo-geri, which literally translates to staff kick. So it's like a stiff leg low kick.
Yeah.
Right? Which basically means that you don't turn your hip over this way.
Right.
Instead you go this way. Right. Now I didn't hit correctly right there, but I would obviously go up.
Oh! God almighty! So that hurts.
That's the point.
Yeah, but the thing that I think people see me doing this and they say...
It looks silly.
Well, they'll say, that's not as powerful as a Muay Thai kick.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's such a thing as powerful enough.
Yes.
And if I'm this close to you,
yeah,
I am not gonna get my full power Muay Thai kick.
Yeah.
So if I pull my hips back or like what you showed, not really move them forward one way or the other.
Yes, exactly.
And they'll say, oh, but you gotta come in perpendicular. That would be great.
Yeah.
But with this one, I can recover faster.
Yeah.
And follow up. So I've been going like boom, boom, drop the hip back, boom, boom, boom.
So what happens is, so you need to either make space or take space. So what happens is you move your hips back to create that space that allows you to do the kick. Because if I'm straight like this, it will go behind you or past you, right?
And we see that happen in amateurs a lot. Amateurs are constantly kicking past each other or whiffing too far
So they're
away.
at the wrong range.
Right.
Exactly. Which is why it's so good when you're close to somebody. Like you're doing body shots. You would see this in full contact karate a lot. Kyokushin karate, for instance.
Yeah, that's kind of, I saw similar kicking principles where they sort of stayed in the exchange after the kick.
Exactly. And you don't have the time or the space to turn your hips over when you're this close.
Right.
Because distance equals time, right? Over here, I have a lot of time to do fancy stuff. Right here, it needs to be quick and effective, which means that my hips need to be square. And that's why it works so well for you.
I would say that's true because my whole goal is to be this close. It makes no sense for me to be this far from you. You will win this exchange every time.
Exactly.
And I go in here, I've taken his kicks away and gave myself a kick.
Yes.
That because of our, he's so much taller than I thought he was.
You're so much shorter than I thought.
Here, hold
I
on.
met this guy, he got out.
I can fix this. Ready? Go back to each other.
Yeah, what's up now? So it wouldn't make any sense for me to be like this far away from you because you can kick me basically at the maximum range of your kick.
Right.
That's like the worst space, and here I'm getting toes and breaking my little toesy woesies.
Yeah.
I come in here and I can kick him, and it's much harder for him being taller than to get that shin or foot onto my leg or my body at all. You'd have to do some footwork.
Exactly.
Which takes time. So I guess that's pretty much the summation of it. So would you recommend that maybe I like look into Kyokushin to see examples of this kind of idea?
Well, actually, it's present in the old school karate forms even.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have like a something you could show me that would maybe like a setup for it? Do you have like a setup that would help me do?
So usually they do it from a close distance and they grab the opponent.
Yeah.
Because old school karate also consisted of grappling and stand-up wrestling clinch stuff.
Yeah, I've been kicking from the clinch.
Yeah, exactly.
And that seems super like not popular. You know, kicking from the clinch and like kicking even from here. We call it the Kourtney Kardashian because Kourtney kicked Kim Kardashian. They had a fight, and she was holding on to her like this and kicked her in the leg.
That's it.
And it looked so dope, and so we call it the Kourtney.
And the old school karate masters would agree.
So, confirmed, Kourtney Kardashian, old school karate expert.
Exactly. But of course, there are many different kicks you would do from such a close range, and many of them were actually stomp kicks like this as well. particularly these kicks and side kicks even from such a close range, which
Right.
most people usually associate with being out here.
For maximum power, maximum range, but it's not the correct tool
Exactly.
in here.
And that's because karate was originally designed for self-defense, which happens up close.
Right.
I don't have the luxury of being ready.
We're gonna fight.
Exactly. Because now
Yeah.
it's consensual fighting, right?
Yeah.
So self-defense is when I don't want to fight, but
As
I
a-
have to.
Let's suppose if someone's already gotten too close to you, they begin to grab
Yeah,
you.
exactly. And now I would have to start using these things, right?
Yeah. So that's some food for thought. I'm a big on creativity. I don't think people should like limit themselves to like, oh, you kick from this range and you kick this way. So when I see people like maybe commenting, like someone will be doing bag work and someone will comment on the bag work, you got to turn your hip over. You got to turn your hip over if you want full power and you're at the correct range. If you're not those things, you better not turn your hip over because you
Right.
have to recover.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not at the correct range and I turn my hip over, I have to recover and I'm going to be eating punches while I do that.
Yeah.
So this is the kick.
Yep.
We call it the Kourtney Kardashian.
So what happens is you didn't invent the kick, but you did reinvent the kick.
There you go. That's cool and all. The ancient karate masters would agree that this is a cool thing. But what people want to know is how do we apply this in modern MMA? Is that a real thing?
I think so, and the best person to actually explain that is my brother Oliver. Oliver,
Cool.
get in here.
Well, you're even
Take it
taller.
away.
This is
I don't know. I think
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I actually teach this kick a lot, but I do it a little bit differently.
show me.
Because I also teach Muay Thai classes, and I've been training in Thailand, and what I explain to beginners that start martial art is that basically what we're doing is we're accelerating our mass into our opponent.
Right.
That's what fighting is.
Correct.
I
Yeah.
accelerate my hard parts into your soft parts, right? And I can use that through my foot, my shin, my knee,
Or whatever else.
or whatever. Yeah.
funny.
So anyway, by accelerating my force, I can do that either by rotating, right? That's one way, or by moving my mass forward.
Your weight, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I put my weight in motion, and then I release it through a punch or a kick.
Yeah,
Right?
and see when he dropped his hips back a little bit.
Yes. So
Right.
what I do is it's
You
not
step-
back; it's sitting down because I want the impact going down.
Like sitting on your
leg.
punches,
Yeah.
rooting to the earth at the moment of impact. Yeah, because he moved his whole body forward, almost like what happens, like a whiplash effect. Like the car's moving forward and the car suddenly stops, and that thing
Yeah.
going forward, he's whiplashing his leg into me, almost like.
And
like
the hard thing for you is to read this kick because I'm not turning the hip,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not looking like I'm gonna kick you. I'm stepping forward like
Like
I'm
my-
gonna clinch you or
Or-
something.
yeah, boxer.
and I drop for the kick. And since I'm back in my stance, I can follow up with the hands.
at boxing range. And I think that's kind of why it's been success for me as a short guy.
Yeah.
Because basically I can kick. We're at a range where they are limited to 2 weapons, and now I have maybe 4.
Yeah.
You know, it's a specific range. The kicking from the boxing range, I think, is super underrated.
Yeah.
In most people's minds when they don't think outside the box. They just think, I punch. You're not at punching range anymore, so I kick.
Exactly.
You know,
and
instead
this
of
is
punch.
yeah, or the opposite way. So if I strike, you will move back, and I will rotate the kick, right?
Right.
But if I'm close, I kick, and I can end with the punches.
Yeah, you don't have to be done just because you kicked.
Yeah, exactly. So you put the kick before the punches, or the punches before the kicks.
Or just never stop.
Yeah, just stay there. I mean,
That's perfect. So I am onto something.
Yeah,
Okay.
you are.
So I need to keep exploring that. Kicking from boxing range, kicking from clinch range is a thing. Some actual people who do know about martial arts have confirmed it. So I don't know what you got down there in the comments because we have real experts now.